Hey everyone, welcome back to the Pastor's Corner. Just an opportunity for me to be able to touch base with you guys and share a little about what's, things to think about here with the things going on in the church, but also things that I've been thinking about in my own heart and things that I feel like the Lord is laying on my heart. So it's an opportunity for us just to kind of connect in that way. So I'm glad you're here. As far as things going on in the church, it's pretty busy, actually. There's lots happening. The big things to really be aware of, honestly, are we're really coming up on Easter. It's not this Sunday, but next Sunday. And again, as we have said time and time again over the weeks, if you have people that you could invite, we encourage you to invite them. This is a time when a lot of people are more open to coming to church, to out of tradition or whatever else. But anyway, it's a good open door often to be able to give an invite. So again, we have these cards that if you want to use to pass out, or if you just simply a verbal invite. But we encourage you to do that. Both there's a Friday night, a good Friday service at 7, but then regular church service Sunday morning at 10:30. So I encourage you to do that. Also, the auction, the missions auction, is coming up rapidly in a couple weeks on the 30th. And again, just really encourage you. We have tons. I'm going to tell you, the team that is putting this together, they are on fire. I mean, they have gotten a lot of stuff done. They have got a lot of items in for it. It's going to be an amazing, fun time, I think. And so, but right now, the thing we all need is people. We have lots of stuff. We have lots of things there that can be auctioned off, but we need people. And so that's where you guys come in. We need you to not only come, but to invite friends to come. Because one of the purposes of this auction is not only to raise money for missions, which it is, but it's also an opportunity to provide connection with each other and able to connect people from outside the church into the church with the church people and hopefully create some relationships that could be fruitful for the kingdom coming. So I encourage you to just to come and to invite friends to come. And then finally, the last thing I want to just highlight is, again, as I said last week, we are planning on doing a baby dedication on Mother's Day. And so if you have a baby or a child that you have not yet dedicated to the Lord formally, then I encourage you to visit with me, and we'll get you on the list for that. So those are basically the things happening in our church body in the next few weeks. All right. Well, this week, instead of answering a question, I want to do something a little different. I want to actually just kind of highlight the season we're in, which of course we are moving into the week of Easter. And this Sunday coming up is Palm Sunday. A lot of times, sometimes people don't really think too much about Palm Sunday or what it means or what happened there. But as we know, Palm Sunday really was the first day of the final week of Jesus's life and his time in Jerusalem. And I want to just read real fast from Luke's Gospel about what happened. As we know, Jesus was riding into Jerusalem on a donkey, and he created quite a stir with it. And anyway, here's what Luke says in chapter 19, verse 36. He says, and as he rode along, they spread their cloaks on the road as he was drawing near. Already on the way down the Mount of Olives, the whole multitude of his disciples began to rejoice and praise God with a loud voice for all the mighty works that they had seen, saying, "Blessed is the King who comes in the name of the Lord. Peace in heaven and glory in the highest." What a scene. We read that, and if we can kind of visualize it, kind of use your imagination and see the scene of Jesus riding in and people just going crazy, celebrating, crying out. Even the Pharisees would come in and kind of say, "You get these people under control. They're making too much of a ruckus." So this was a very it's known as the triumphal entry, because I think the scene was so triumphant. It was, the king is here. He's come. He's come to do what he was prophesied to do, and all this. The people were so positive right now, so hopeful. And of course, having hindsight and looking back on this, of course, we know how the week ends. We know that this scene that we're seeing was not the same scene that we see later in the week. And that should actually cause us to wonder and to ask some questions of why. How is it that less than a week later, the same shouts of praise and worship and just hopefulness and everything could turn so quickly to yells of hate and anger, shouting, crucify him? Why the change? I've been thinking about this, and every year at the same time I always come back to this passage and these same thoughts the Spirit continually brings up to my mind, that basically at the end of the day that it's fairly clear why. It's because Jesus wasn't the Messiah they wanted. They wanted the Messiah, but they wanted the Messiah that they thought was needed, not the one that he was. And Jesus himself in the Gospel of Luke, he kind of gets at this at the very next statement that's made down in verse 41. He actually, it says he's weeping over Jerusalem. It says, and when he drew near and saw the city, he wept over it, saying, would that you, even you, had known on this day the things that make for peace, but now they are hidden from your eyes. You know, what did they want? They wanted a Messiah that was going to come in. He was going to come in and basically conquer Rome. Rome was the oppressing factor, and Rome was seemingly, because as people were looking at their world around them, and trying to figure out what's going on and why is their life so oppressed. Of course, what they saw was Rome, and Rome became the reason for their lack of peace. And so when they saw the Messiah coming, again, in their minds, the Messiah would bring peace. And so, in order for that to happen, all that needed to happen is him to come in and conquer Rome. And so they thought that was going to bring peace. Again, they thought Rome was the barrier to peace. But they didn't realize that the barrier was actually their sin. And this is what Jesus is getting at. He's saying, you guys don't get it. That's why he's weeping over them. You don't know. He says, would that you had known on this day the things that make for peace. In other words, you don't understand what is needed to bring peace, because the peace you're looking for, you think it comes from all the circumstances around you. No, it comes from a transformation of the heart inside of you. That's where the peace needs to happen. That's the barrier to peace. It's not our circumstances. They didn't realize that their sin was the barrier. They didn't realize that there was an enemy that needed to be defeated, but it wasn't Rome. The enemy that needed to be defeated was death. And I think about that. So that's why, their shouts of celebration could quickly turn when they realize that's not happening. What they think needs to happen is not happening. Their shouts can quickly turn to crucify him. He's not what we want. And of course, sometimes we think, well, that would never be us. We would never think like that. But how often do we think that if only life around us was better, then I would be at peace? I look at the state of things and I think, if only we had better politics, we would be at peace. Or if I only had better relationships with fill in the blank, then I'd be at peace. If only my financial situation was better, then I would be, God, meet these needs, because if these needs get met, then I will be at peace. But the problem is, it's the same thing with these people. This can be the same thing in our own hearts, is that those things, they're not the things that make for peace. Why? Because those are not the things that created the conflict. Our sinful hearts are. The only way to have peace is by what happened at the end of the week. Because you see, here's the thing. Jesus did go to war that week. He did. He came in as a king determined to engage in warfare and to conquer. It just wasn't the Romans. But he did go to war. He did conquer the enemy, and he did make peace. But how did he do it? He did it in a way that nobody ever expected. He did it by taking on, because he attacked the barrier, which was our sin. And so he took our sin on himself and died our death on the cross on Friday, making peace between us and God. And that's the only true peace. That's the thing that makes for peace. So I hope and I challenge each of us just to kind of take this time, since we are going into this season of the year, just to reflect on this. Think about the things that we're looking to in our life that we think are taking away our peace, or that we need to change just to bring us peace. And realize that Jesus did conquer. He did make a way for peace. And he did it on the cross on Friday. And as I said at the beginning of this whole the Pastor's Corner, talking about we are having a Good Friday service. And I just really encourage you to join us for that at 7, and just to celebrate this day of peace that was given to us by grace. Okay, that's all I've got this week for Pastor's Corner. So once again, if you do have questions or things you'd like to see me kind of wrestle with, I just encourage you to send me any questions you have. Sky's the limit. Anything on your heart, you will be anonymous in it, and I will do my best to answer them on some program. Hopefully, I can't guarantee I'll answer your question, but I will do my best. But anyway, if you do, I encourage you just to send an email to cbcpastorscorner@gmail.com. And I would just love to have that kind of interaction with you. And again, I encourage you to join us on this Sunday, and looking forward to everything that's going on with us. Sunday for Bible Hour, Nathan Schmidt will be presenting to us, and he's got something on his heart. Looking forward to hearing about that. And we will be, for the sermon, we will be back in, I'm back in the saddle, and we're heading back into Luke 7, and so we'll be breaking into that. If you want to read ahead of time, it'll be verses 1 through 10 on that. So if you'd like to just read ahead and have God start to prepare your heart for that, that would be awesome. So looking forward to seeing you guys, and thank you for joining us here on this, and we will talk to you later, and I love you all. All right, take care. Bye.